Welcome back to another YouTube video, and I am joined with the one and only Julian Goldie.
Hello there.
It's got a good rhyme to it, that. But yeah, I thought we're going to kickstart this video with 3 tips each that we are doing in our SEO strategy that we might not have been doing in 2023. And I feel like the guest should start with his first tip.
Yeah, I think for me, number one is actually focusing on building a brand,
Mhm.
not just focusing on building a niche site. Like if I look at the future of SEO in 2024, I think there was a lot of things you could get away with in 2023 and 2022 in terms of just pumping out AI content, ranking it, getting a load of traffic, making a load of money off ads. But I think the way the game is going, it's really about building a brand and not just building an SEO site,
Yeah.
but building a business is getting traffic from everywhere. And it's so easy to automate so many of these steps. I mean, I can show you some of my favorite tools if you want, but essentially don't just rely on Google. Don't just focus on building a niche site. Protect yourself, build a moat. And then even if your traffic gets taken down from SEO, or even if something happens that way, you've got all these backup sources and you've got a real business that you can rely on.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree. This was going to be one of my tips, but it's fine. What one
You,
thing that I will,
you tried to throw me under the bus there. Let's be honest.
I've threw myself under the bus here. I should have went first, but yeah, exactly like what you've mentioned. Not just focusing on one search engine. I think is super important. Like for example, I don't know about yourself, Julian, but as soon as I have started publishing YouTube videos, my branded search for my own name on Google Search Console has went up without doing any like manipulation or anything like that. People are naturally just probably seeing a few of my videos and then trying to search who's this Kajra Dash guy, or who's this Julian Goldie person that keeps coming up on my YouTube feed. So focusing on other search engines, potentially doing YouTube videos, Pinterest. Again, another really good traffic source as well that helps with branded traffic is Facebook retargeting ads as well, or just Facebook ads. Again, I don't know if you've seen this, but branded search does increase when you start doing Facebook ads. And again, it's all to do with actual creating a big brand. Is there any other tips that you would give when it comes to like building a brand? Because you've done it yourself for your own website.
Yeah, I think number one, there's no shortcuts. But number two is just building out the system for each channel and then moving on and making
Hmm.
sure you give that to someone. Because actually creating the content on each channel, let's say you're trying to build a brand with your business and you're posting on Twitter and then your Facebook group and then LinkedIn and your website. These are all channels that I personally use, so I know they work. But it's like the actual posting of the content, you don't even need a brain to do that. Like you can use ChatGPT and you can use previous content and sort of reformat it for each platform. The biggest issue that you're going to find is having a good system that you can give to someone. And I think if you design that first, you make sure it's working, you give that to someone else, and then you move on. Like for example, for Twitter, we're posting 30 times a day, getting more engagement than ever before. My VA is actually creating all the content, doesn't cost much at all, and all the content is created with ChatGPT by reformatting my other blog articles and my other videos that I've created already. And so by doing this on each platform, whether that's Twitter, whether that's your Facebook group, whether that's LinkedIn, etc., just figure out yourself, give the system to someone else. And then I would also recommend if you're hiring someone else to do it for you when you're building your brand, pay them fixed price based on results. So don't worry about paying them hourly because otherwise you're going to end up with a bunch of clock watchers. But if you really want someone who's very, very focused on just getting the result done and getting it done productively, make sure that you pay them a fixed price. Additionally, this is how I do SEO. So for me, for example, my VAs that are creating content on my websites, will pay them a fixed price per article so that they're really focused on getting that published, not on working a lot of hours. And that saves us thousands of dollars every year.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. So Tip number 2 when it comes to SEO for 2024, I would say is focusing on unique images. I don't know if you've seen this yourself, but especially if you are in e-commerce or you're in the affiliate space and stuff, if you're just copying the image that's already been seen on 60 other websites, it's essentially just copying somebody's content as well, right? So trying to create unique images. Again, the white hat approach to this would to be going to, for example, if you've got a hotel review website, going to every single hotel, snapping a photo. However, not everybody listening to this is probably got the white hat mentality. So you can create unique images with AI. I don't know if you've used Adobe Firefly, Julian.
I've never
Um,
used it. No, no.
that's it's a really good tool. Like I use it sometimes for e-commerce websites, and you can essentially you can grab the exact same image off Amazon and then draw around it with Amazon Firefly, and then say, hey, build draw me a wooden desk underneath that image. And again, you're adding a little bit of uniqueness, so it's not just the image that Google's seen 10 million times already on 100 different websites. Are you doing anything with unique images yourself?
Not a massive amount, honestly. Like, for example, when we create content on our websites, like using AI tools, I don't think the images are that great.
Hmm.
They are unique, obviously, because they're generated with these AI tools, but quite often the images are not that great. However, for a lot of our YouTube thumbnails, which get seen by hundreds of thousands of people every month, a lot of them are AI generated, and I actually have this tool where I can just log into it and say, right, create me a thumbnail about backlinks, and then it will generate an image that's designed for a YouTube thumbnail, and it takes about 2 minutes to do.
Right. Perfect. So I mean, you are using AI to generate the images, which I would consider being a unique image. So that's good. What would you say is your next tip?
I would say if you can create, so one of the things that's working really well for us for link building at the minute, and this is getting us backlinks pretty much every single day when I check our backlink profile for juliangolder.com, is building out your own custom GPTs for every single task or every single problem that you have in your business. So if I'm an SEO agency, it's going to be like, right, let's create a custom GPT for internal link building, for creating content, for blog outlines. And these are all separate tools that we're building. You can just go into ChatGPT Plus, click explore, click create a custom GPT, and it's all there for you to do. And by creating these tools, we rank on Google. They're trained to to basically convert the traffic that's using them into sales calls or to click our affiliate links. But additionally, they're being found and then linked to from all these GPT websites. And literally, when I checked my backlink profile yesterday, we had like 3 or 4 different backlinks from GPT stores recommending our tools. And it's like, I can create as many of those as I want. These are tools that I'm going to use anyway. So they save me loads of time and automate a lot of stuff. And then also they're attracting backlinks to my website. It's like, it's a positive feedback loop that's really easy, and I haven't seen anyone else really using that properly.
So tip number 2 for me would be to not just focus on mass producing content, because obviously with the rise of ChatGPT and AI and stuff, everyone seems to be on the bandwagon of I need more articles, I need more articles, and it's actually not the case. Again, there's a lot of affiliate websites or just website owners in general that I've spoke to on consultancy calls and stuff, and they have mass produced AI articles, and they've not been going back in and re-optimizing the pages. So like for example, if you can imagine this, Julian, you go and say, right, I'm going to create a website to do with televisions, and the best televisions in January 2023 probably aren't the best televisions in January 2024. So making certain that you're actually keeping your content up to date and stuff. And again, same goes with like law firms. Like law changes every month in some cases, also in America as well. So again, just making certain that your articles and stuff like that are kept up to date. I don't know, are you doing much of that yourself? with some of your websites?
We used to do it a lot more, honestly. I think that we've kind of one of the biggest things that I find with updating articles is that unless you have someone really solid in place to manage that website, you get distracted by all this other stuff, and you might build a really good system for re-optimizing content now,
Mm-hmm.
but unless you have like an SEO site manager,
Yeah,
like full time on it, these things drop and they drift into the background, right?
yeah. It's
But what I used to like doing, yeah, go on.
no. I was just about to say I agree. It's almost as if you need like a full time editor for certain websites.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I used to like doing was if I saw like my traffic was stagnating, I would look for Ahrefs, sort by traffic lost, and then find which keywords have dropped. And I knew because they were sorted in terms of priority, I could easily fix the highest leverage pages, the pages that would have the lowest input but the highest output in terms of volume of traffic. And so if I fix those pages and reindex them, that's going to make a much bigger difference in terms of re-optimizing the old content
Hmm.
versus working through every single one. There might be hundreds of thousands of pages.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, so what's your next tip?
So my next tip is this is something where my mindset has really changed, I would say, over the last 3 or 6 months, which is thinking not just in terms of ranking one spot on the first page, but actually just trying to dominate the keywords that you really want to go after. And I think this is easier than ever since the helpful content update in August last year, because Reddit, Quora, LinkedIn posts, even Udemy, even Gumroad, even Fiverr.com are all overpowered in terms of ranking now because Google seems to favor user generated content. And I think instead of looking at that as a bad thing that could hurt your rankings, you got to look at it as like, okay, can I create content on all these platforms? And even if my website doesn't rank, I'm still going to grab a spot there. And it's like I can grab 80% of the spots on the first page of Google because of that helpful content update last year. And so I don't need to worry about, okay, is my website taking a hit or not? I just have to think in terms of, okay, how can I build a fortress with SEO where I can dominate that keyword for every single spot? And that way, I'd not just get a lot more traffic, but in the eyes of Google, Julian Goldie, that entity, is seen as the expert on that particular topic, and it makes ranking for everything else easier. And when we revert back to tip number one, which is building a brand, I think this is one of the best ways to do it because you're not just posting on one platform or one website. You're thinking in terms of, okay, in terms of branding, can I rank on YouTube? Can I rank on LinkedIn? Can I rank on Udemy? And you can just dominate things this way and you
Yeah,
become the only choice. You're basically monopolizing the keyword.
yeah. It's I get asked this a lot, where a website owner will come to me and say, "Hey, Kaz, should I do parasite SEO? Should I not do it?" And it's the ultimate way of essentially making certain that you are getting the clicks. Because even if you are in position one, right? If you picture it, what's better than just being in one position? If you're in position two, three, four, five, six, if you're just dominating an entire SERP, like you are the wall in that case, then ultimately when somebody searches for, let's say, lawyers in London or whatever, and you're in positions 1 to 10, now, again, you might not be able to do it for such a competitive keyword like that. But if you're in two positions as opposed to just one, then you're ultimately going to get more inquiries or more sales for your product. So I get it, and it's one of the things that myself and James and stuff like that try to do with the Rank and Rent websites. We try to build out 10 websites in one area and try and dominate one location. So yeah, it's definitely a really good tip to have because again, it's again like what I call double bubble. You're essentially you might have your website number one and your parasite number two, or vice versa. The parasite might be number one, your website number two. So either way, you're still getting the clicks and you're still getting the sales inquiries and stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
you never have to worry about your website getting hit again, right? Because you've
exactly.
diversified your traffic so much.
Yeah. So the last tip for me is probably link building. I feel like with the rise of AI, the only big differentiator that Google has is what the domain authority is and what good links is pointing through to your website. I know you slightly touched on this with the GBT links and stuff like that, but having a correct foundational set of links, whether it's the social profiles, so it's again tying with what you were saying as well, building a brand. So go and get a load of Web2s for your foundational style links. If you're a local business, go and get citations. Google Stacks still work very well. I know Chris Palmer talks very highly of them. So if you're trying to increase your visibility in the map pack, that's going to help. Then you've got the likes of guest posts, niche edits obviously to your homepage to pass more power, guest posts to pass more relevance. Then if you want to go one step further as well, the tiered links, the tier 2, tier 3s. So for example, you've got a guest post on, let's say, Forbes. If me and Julian are competitors, right, and we both want to rank for lawyers in London, if we have the exact same guest post or the exact same website, let's say Forbes.com linking to Julian's website and Forbes.com linking to my website, if Julian goes and builds tier 2 links to his guest post or to his link to Forbes, he ultimately has a stronger guest post. So it means that Google essentially passes more page rank through to him. And again, if all things were equal, so if we both of us had 200 articles written with the exact same AI writer, again, Julian's going to come out on top in that scenario because he just has more page rank and link juice going through to his page. Is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think in a AI filled world, like backlinks are basically your secret weapon. Like you
Yeah,
can use them or lose out because AI articles, if anyone can do that, then they're not going to rank alone, are they? And I think anyone now can mindlessly pump out ChatGPT drivel, but it's backlinks that push you to the top. So I think the ChatGPT one-click fluff, it basically has zero authority. And if you want authority, which is the name of the game when it comes to ranking, then you need backlinks. And that's basically the moat that 99% of websites struggle with. So if you can build links, you can outright your competitors and you're going to build a moat that most people can't climb over.
yeah, definitely. Is there any bonus tips that you want to add, or is that us done?
So,
I feel like you've got one more bonus tip.
so I mean, going back to that third tip that I gave in terms of dominating keywords, I would
Hmm.
say only invest that time if it's a money keyword,
Yeah,
because it's a lot of time to spend. Even if you're getting a team to do it, it's a lot of money and resources to invest. And therefore, just focus on money keywords are actually going to drive more leads and more sales to your business. Because ranking for like concat eat cucumbers and ranking 10 times is just as useless as ranking once.
yeah, it's yeah. Keyword selection is very important for what Julian said on tip number 3. So don't go and talk about hamsters or whatever. Try and actually monetize the try and find the monetizational keyword. But yeah, thanks for jumping on this episode, Julian.
Enjoyed that. Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah. And again, if you guys do have any questions or if you want us to cover a certain video, make certain to leave a comment down below. And if you guys want a free 15-minute strategy call, make sure to check out cadredash.com. Thanks.